We have just seen the images of the burial of Aylan, who was 2, his brother Khalib, who was 4, and their mother, whose bodies were returned alongside their father, who picked them up from the morgue in Bodrum, which is on the coast of Turkey, via Istanbul to southeast Turkey, where they were driven in convoy to Kobani earlier on today. Turkish authorities allowing their father to accompany them to what is a very, very, very sad scene. These 3 members of one family drowned alongside 12 others who were trying to make their way from Bodrum on the coast to Kos and to a better life. These are Syrian refugees from a war that has been roiling now for 5 years, and we understand this family has tried a number of times to seek asylum in other countries, not least in Canada. So these images, a reminder of what the Turkish president called a human catastrophe when I spoke to him earlier on yesterday. And quite frankly, he says that he blames Europe and the Western world. He says that they do not understand the root cause of this crisis and accuses Europe of turning the Mediterranean into a cemetery. The words of the Turkish president. We saw the shocking image of Aylan's body washed up on the shores of the beach of Bodrum just yesterday, published around the world. And now these images of this funeral. And in these images, you will see the father grieving. He says that he wants to now stay in Kobani. And let me just set some context for this. They were amongst, as I say, 12 people trying to make their way to Europe, some 330,000 migrants in what is called a crisis, making their way through Europe at present. And we are now beginning to hear from a number of countries about how they just might accommodate these people. These are people, they are refugees. And there are near 2 million Syrians who are being accommodated by Turkey alone in this region as they flee this awful horror of the civil war. Another million in Lebanon, another 685,000 in Jordan. The impact of the Syrian refugee on this region alone is absolutely enormous. And when I spoke to the president of Turkey yesterday, quite frankly, he had one message. It is that the world has turned their back on Syria and on those who are really the human face of what is a terrible, terrible civil war.